The rain was falling hard over downtown Atlanta. Not the soft kind of rain that fades into background noise, but the kind that hits glass like it's trying to break through it. Inside a quiet storage facility on the edge of the city, a single motion light flickered. Then another. Then everything went still again. A man stood in front of a steel door marked with a simple label. Archive storage. Enter authorized personnel only. He wasn't supposed to be there. And yet, he had a key. Not the kind issued by security, but the kind that comes from knowing exactly when people stop paying attention. His name was Evan Cole, 34 years old. Once a low-level digital technician in the entertainment industry. Now, a man about to do something that would quietly shake the global music world without most people ever realizing it happened. Evan didn't look like a criminal. No mask, no dramatic gear. Just a hoodie, worn sneakers, and a calm expression that almost looked tired. Like he had already accepted where this night was going before it even began. He placed his hand on the scanner. Beep. Green light. The door unlocked. And in that moment, something irreversible began. But what Evan was looking for inside wasn't money. Not jewelry. Not even fame. He was looking for something far more dangerous. Unreleased music. And not just any music. Beyonce's private, unreleased vault recordings. Evan Cole didn't start as a thief. He started as something far more dangerous in a corporate world. A trusted insider. He had worked in digital asset management for a media distribution contractor tied to music labels. His job was simple. Organize encrypted storage. Manage backups. Verify file integrity. And most importantly, never touch what didn't belong to him. For a while he followed every rule. He was quiet, efficient, invisible, the kind of employee who never made mistakes. And never asked unnecessary questions. But something changed over time. Late nights in server rooms where only the hum of hard drives kept him company. Accidental glimpses of unreleased files while running diagnostics. Song folders labeled with names that most people would never get to see. And one name appeared more than others. Beyonce. First it was just curiosity. Then recognition. Then something deeper. Because what Evan saw in those encrypted archives wasn't just music. It was history being shaped in private. Versions of songs that didn't exist in public yet. Alternate mixes. Unreleased collaborations. Entire creative directions that would later be erased or changed before release. And that was the moment everything shifted inside him. Not because he wanted to sell it. Not at first. But because he began to feel something dangerous. That he had access to something the world was never meant to see. And access is where temptation begins. It started small. Copied file. Not even a full song. Just a fragment from a backup system during a routine maintenance cycle. Evan told himself it meant nothing. Just a technical test. Just curiosity. Just data. But he didn't delete it. He saved it. On an external drive. Then another file. Then another. Each one carefully selected. Each one justified in his mind as harmless. Until one night, something happened that changed the direction of his thinking entirely. A system migration error exposed a temporary cache folder. And inside that folder were full, unreleased master files. Not compressed. Not partial. Complete recordings. He froze. The kind of silence that doesn't feel empty, but feels loaded. Because Evan understood something immediately. This wasn't just access anymore. This was vulnerability. And vulnerability in the wrong hands becomes opportunity. He looked around the empty server room. No cameras facing directly into his station. No supervisors on site. Just him. And a decision that would define the rest of his life. He copied the files. Not all of them. Just enough to prove he could. And that single action became the first real step toward collapse. Days passed. Then weeks. Nothing happened. No alarms. No emails. No suspicion. That silence was worse than fear. Because it told Evan something terrifying. He could do it again. And again. And no one would notice. At least, not immediately. But what Evan didn't realize was that in high-level digital security environments, silence is never absence. It's observation. And somewhere, in a monitoring system he never saw, patterns were forming. Unusual access times. Repeated archive queries. Minor inconsistencies in audit logs. Small signals that individually meant nothing, but together told a story someone was beginning to read. And that someone was not far away, on a separate floor of the same data facility. A cybersecurity analyst named Mara Jennings was reviewing anomaly reports. At first she didn't think much of it. False positives were common. But then she saw the pattern. The same user ID. Accessing restricted archives. At odd hours. From internal terminals that should not have been active. She leaned closer to the screen. Something about it didn't feel random anymore. And that's when she said quietly to herself, "This isn't a glitch." And at that exact moment, back in Evan Cole's apartment, a hard drive clicked softly as it finished encrypting another copied file. He didn't know it yet. But the story had already moved past the point of no return. And the world was about to find out that silence inside a system is never really silence at all.